we are going to practice and debrief, but I want to make this safe for you. Please don't freak out. There's no judgment. We are in a total no judgment zone. If you don't want to talk, just maybe listen to your partner. I want you to share whatever you came up with in your recovery message. And we actually have a little longer than 2 minutes. If you want to take 3, feel free. When you're not sharing, just let's use our active listening skills to be fully present, listening for key components of that message. And let's all listen for recovery-oriented language like Stephanie and Merlin and Wendy have been sharing in the chat, because it's time to get back. And I'm going to break you out now. Please share what you came up with your recovery message, and give feedback as we're able. Back, everyone. I'm very curious. How was that experience for you? Maybe a 1 word in the chat about your experiencing sharing a message using language of recovery. And then also, anyone willing to share out loud with the groups, then Janella can call on you. But I'm looking in the chat and I'd love to hear from you. How was it to practice messaging? I'm hoping you guys, oh, insightful. Go Carmen. Anyone else? Out loud or in the chat? I know sometimes it's like, oh, I don't want to share out loud. The positive narrative feels good. See, words have power and they create feelings in all of us, okay, including legislators, policymakers, board of supervisors, co-workers. Vulnerability is a strength. I'm looking for more. Come on, guys. Thank you, Chad. Anyone else? Recovery doesn't happen in isolation. We need to be there for the community. That's absolutely correct. And as we're sharing, I hope you're thinking about, who could I share my recovery language with? Recovery language. Vulnerable that turned out to be freeing. Ooh, okay. The guided questions makes it easy to put it all together. Woohoo, we gave you a tool you can actually use. Speaking about comfort, better, more intimate, one-on-one or small group. Yeah, language is important. So anyone care to share out loud?
Wendy expanded on hers.
Stephanie, feeling connected with others in our experience, we are reminded there is no single path to recovery. We are going to be exploring that more fully in the future. What are these paths to recovery that we talk about? And what does that mean when we say there's multiple paths? So look for that coming up. Okay, well, I thank you all for sharing. And I want you to think about, as we go out into the world and we leave here today, let's stay on message. I realize maybe not in a 12-step group yet, but remember, a unified message is so critical. Unified just meaning using recovery-oriented language. It helps us to maintain focus and continuity, and it promotes greater public understanding. Those who are not in recovery begin to understand the miracle and the hope and healing of our words. And when can we use it? I would like to say always, but thinking about, maybe you're in the workplace talking to coworkers. Instead of, yeah, I'm an addict, which we might not want to say, we could say, I'm a person in long-term recovery. I've been experimenting with that, by the way, for real lately. And it's received so positively. It just astounds me how many of our coworkers, you would never know, in some way, shape, or form have been impacted by substance use disorder. So when you're introducing yourself at a meeting, maybe you have to remember where you are, but like at the Recovery Community Collaborative, I'm a person in long-term recovery, as you're introducing yourself. When you're being interviewed, please, in the media, when you're being interviewed, especially if it has anything to do with recovery, you want to introduce yourself not as an addict or alcoholic, but as a person in recovery, a friend of a person in recovery, an ally, a person working in the field of recovery. When you're meeting with an elected official, policymaker, board of soups, If you're writing a blog or newsletter, check out the recovery language. Make sure you're not putting anything that's going to stigmatize. And then again, as I started with, always, let's use it always. If we look for opportunities, we will find them. So in closing, I want you to think about everything you heard the last hour and a half and or hour and 15. And before you go, share one thing meaningful in the chat that you will take forward. One thing you're going to commit to regarding recovery message, one thing meaningful you got from this workshop. And if you're brave, you're all brave, but if you would share out loud, we'll call on you. It is like a mission statement to humanity. Mental health affects everyone. Thank you, Chad. One thing you're going to commit to regarding recovery messaging. And then one thing that was meaningful here. I will share recovery language with stakeholders, family, and friends. Woohoo! That is exactly what we were hoping for.
That's good. So I think like a key component that I was able to learn today was just the importance of language and just really being able to analyze that, whether it's the language that we use when we are serving our community or the language that we use even within our documentation. I'm kind of like curious to explore more of that, like within the program I work for, just to kind of go back and see what type of language we're using there as well.
Stephanie, I just got a God chill, so I truly think you're on to something there. Thank you so much for bringing that up. I want to make sure I haven't missed anything here. Beautiful contribution, Stephanie. Thank you. Let me go up. Okay. Reassurance that words do matter and that we can share this with staff and others. Yes, please share it. And we will probably hold this workshop again, I'm thinking, in the future, and maybe you can think of someone who might benefit from this. Craft my message to different audiences. And here's the best part, and this came from Angel, start sharing it. And then sharing personal experience, your personal stories truly do help others and empower others with positivity. That was from Sharnetta. And I will commit to use language that is with integrity. Wow. So more is coming. I will commit to being more mindful in my recovery language in both my personal and professional life so that it's positive and consistent in both realms. And I will tell you, I've been speaking out for quite a few years, and I didn't know about recovery messaging back in 98, 99, 2000. All I had was the messaging I learned in 12-step groups. And I was speaking to doctors at the state in Sacramento, and I said, I'm an addict, and you could literally see the shutdown happen. And then about 2 years later, I had recovery messaging from Faces and Voices. And I spoke with different language to this same group of doctors in a conference. And I was using recovery language, and there was a different response. There was a more open and interested acceptance of whatever I had to say. So it's very powerful for me. And I think you're going to see the same power when you speak out. Anyone else have anything else they want to share out loud?
I have something I want to share, Tracy.
Yes, Danella.
Has anyone ever heard of the Chicken Soup for the Soul books? There's Chicken Soup for the Recovering Soul. If you pick up a copy, flip through it, you're going to find a story from Tracy when she took her young son, and you have two of them, but I'm thinking specifically the time with her young son, they went and did advocacy in Sacramento. It's a very, very precious story. So look up Tracy Lee, Chicken Soup for the Recovering Soul. And then I also just shared in the chat, Advocacy with Anonymity. This is a wonderful resource document that talks about how to interact with this message in communities that are all about anonymity. And we're talking about STEP communities. So that's a very good resource document for your own library, especially, if you're working with clients or you yourself. That is an important part of your recovery. It's been an important part of my recovery. And so we don't want to ever deny the parts of our recovery that are important, but it's so very valuable to use positive language and positive messages when we're talking to legislators, when we're presenting our programs and our resources to the community. So this has been fantastic, Tracy. Thank you so much. It is being recorded, so you'll have a link if there are others in your organizations or friends that you would like to share this information with. You're welcome to do that. The link should be up online next week sometime. So thank you. That's all I have to share.
Okay, so I hope we all go out into the world with our recovery-oriented language and
Yeah,
truly heal and resolve
going to
stigma. Yes,
interrupt.
Marilyn?
Tracy, I'm going to interrupt with a message for the group. I've been in this movement a very long time. And the quotes from Bill White and Don Coyes are significant. Those two guys have been my friends for more than 20 years. And Bill White is in possession of this event and the work book that's associated with it. And his response to me was, "Thanks, Merlin.
Oh,
We're carrying on a legacy that is pretty significant." And I'm so grateful to Tracy, not only for this presentation. She talks about me being a wordsmith. And then immediately when I looked at this and thought about it, and we're going to make something of this, that workbook is our word book.
our word book.
Yeah, because of what it contains. And I think it's basically a tool that anybody can use. And so we're not gonna drop it. It's too valuable. And so I just wanted to let you know, you've been a part of a known project to certainly the guru, the mentor, the chief and friend, Bill White, and carrying on the legacy, as I told him.
Well,
So
he is
thank
truly
you
one of
all
my
for your
heroes.
participation. And spread the word. Spread the word.
And only we can do this, guys, because we care and we have the words now to do the work that we need to do. So I'm seeing the thank yous, and thank you so much for being here. You are what make this possible, your willingness to spend some time with us at the Purpose of Recovery. I would hope that you will fill out an evaluation to give us some feedback and bring you topics that you want to hear about. And I also, and by the way, to do that, you can click on that QR code, hold your camera up to that. I've given you a link in your workbook. You're gonna get a link. So there's all kinds of ways, and it's just a 3-question evaluation, but it's so helpful to us, and we do read your comments.